Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video, I'm going to be testing out one of the newly buffed fire types in the Season 23 balance patch, and that is Shadow Kanto Ninetales. Now, Ninetales' legacy fast move, Ember, did receive an update where it now generates more energy. This gives Ninetales better pacing than it had before, while still retaining the pretty solid fast move damage that Ember already had. For the team, I paired it up with an Abomasnow lead, and Abomasnow, despite the fact that this is a bug and fire meta, was really good at core breaking a lot of teams. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches and check out the team in action. In game number 1, we're off to a great start, leading Abomasnow into Dedenne. Abomasnow is really good at core breaking a lot of the Gligar teams and a lot of the Dedenne teams. Additionally, just by its typing and coverage, it's good at covering Pokemon that the Shadow Kanto Ninetales does not want to see. Even though Dedenne is walled off in this matchup, their Thunder Shock and Parabolic Charge are resisted, they're still able to do quite a bit of damage, and thanks to their boosts, I will actually have to fire off an Energy Ball if I want to pick up the knockout here. Opponent decides to go down a shield, I make it to the Weather Ball, but I'm going to lose Charge Attack priority. The goal in most situations with this team is I'm trying to sweep with the Ninetales, because if you can get Ninetales an energy advantage, it can get incredibly fun. Here, unfortunately, I do one turn lag on Bring In, so this ends up being a CMP tie when I should be ahead by one turn, but my opponent will end up shielding, so they can get the Rock Tomb debuff. But thanks to this new pacing, I can make the overheat on Charge Attack priority. This is a -1 overheat, but it's still an overheat. Down goes Credilli, and they're gonna bring in Shadow Marowak. I pivot out, saving the Ninetales, and in comes Blastoise. Blastoise, I am running the non-Shadow variant. I've been running Blastoise in a lot of videos because this felt like a really consistent neutral presence. I think it's really good in this meta. I'm not 100% sold on if it's the best third for this particular team, as it does leave me pretty soft to fighters, considering Abomasnow takes super effective from fighters and Rollout's going to be resisted. Here, my opponent does get the farm down, but the Ember is going to sneak through as they fire off the Bone Club, so still with the shield to hide behind, the Ember KOs, and we're able to clutch the win. Moving into game number 2, what a lead, Abomasnow staring down Gligar. Opponent safe switches into Feraligatr, and they are core broken by the Abomasnow. Being up a turn is so helpful for Abomasnow because I make the Energy Ball before they make a move, the bait is successful, and now I can send in Blastoise just to absorb energy. This Feraligatr has so much residual though. They can even get to a third Hydro Cannon when I get the Skull Bash if they decide to throw on alignment. I'm going to force them to throw on alignment by throwing instantly, and that's a nice play by my opponent, understanding that they absolutely have to get a shield back. But the uncomfortable thing for my opponent is now I'm going to have a boosted Blastoise, so I'm going to be harder to farm down once they send in the Gligar. In comes the Gligar. Gligar will take pretty big damage from Hydro Cannon. They can survive it, but it's going to hit quite hard. So they are going to end up committing the shield, and I will surrender the farm down. I'm running the non-Shadow Abomasnow, which means I can actually survive an Aerial Ace. So I'm just going to let this go. I really like Ninetales having a shield in the back. That's not something Ninetales wants to see, but it is going to be something that Abomasnow is very happy to see, and that's going to be the Azumarill. Energy Ball is going to do big damage. Azumarill has to throw right before I get the move, so I may as well get the catch onto the Shadow Ninetales. We're able to absorb that Ice Beam, and now I'm just going to look to massively overfarm with the Ninetales, because I just want to be able to overheat the Gligar the moment it gets brought back in. So I shield up the Ice Beam, continuing to farm, watching for a potential switch. There's the switch, and we get to unleash Overheat. This is a Shadow Overheat into the Gligar. Gligar gets absolutely rocked. We exit with the Weather Ball loaded, but just for fun, I know that I will survive the bubble and get to a second Overheat. So Ninetales KOs Azumarill, and we're able to take the next win. Hopping into the next match here, oh my goodness, the Gligar and Dedenne leads are so kind to Abomasnow, but Furret safe switch proves to be a little bit tricky. This team doesn't have a great response to a Furret safe switch, so if I did decide to pick a different third for the team that wasn't Blastoise, my main goals would be something that can do well against the fighters and something that can do well against Furret, and something that honestly has some flexible play, because ideally that would be the safe swap on this team. In this instance here, I'm actually just going to concede switch advantage in exchange for farm on the Blastoise, because up one rollout, or in this case 2 rollouts, it's really awkward to send in the Gligar, so they bring in their final Pokemon, which is Dragalge. I really like baiting Dragalges here. Dragalge unfortunately did get the 1-turn bring in there, so it ends up being a CMP tie when they should have outpaced by a turn. I will go for the Hydro Cannon bait, and the bait is successful. Now, I'm not going to bait. I'm going to go for the Skull Bash. If I can just get shields down, I'm feeling like I'm in a pretty good spot. I don't get the shield, but I get big damage. They're on Sludge Bomb, not Outrage, which means at +1, I am surviving this. In comes Gligar. Gligar will immediately be hit with the Hydro. If they let it go, I can just Ember down. If they shield, well, they're just getting overheated. Now I get to send in the Ninetales. I'm not 100% sure how much damage a Fire-type Weather Ball does. In hindsight, I think I could probably just Fire-type Weather Ball and pick up the KO, but I was in the mood to nuke, so we're going for the Overheat. Overheat is going to KO. In comes Dragalge. Dragalge gets Ember down, and that's a good game. Let's move to the next match. Oh no, it's another Gligar. I was seeing nothing but Electric and Gligar leads when I was running a different team, so I ended up putting Abomasnow on the lead, and my goodness, Abomasnow absolutely ate all day. They're going to go for an Ice Beam, just trying to get whatever chip damage they possibly can since they are core broken. I'm less likely to shield if it is the non-stab Ice Beam. Now, after they shield the first Energy Ball, I can just outpace and get to another one. So Abomasnow putting in great work. The fact that they're this weak does make me want to save it. So now I'm just going to send in the Blastoise. Blastoise more than happy to absorb the Play Rough here from the opponent. And now they are going to pivot out and send back in the Gligar. This is a bit surprising to me, as obviously Gligar not going to do amazingly here either. So I go for the Hydro Cannon, it ends up being a charge attack priority tie, and I'm very okay just letting this go. They go for the Aerial Ace, it will not knock out, and I will make it to another Hydro. So I've set up Shadow Ninetales exactly where it wants to be. I'm going to be up a shield in the endgame. They're thinking about it. They're going to bring back in the Azumarill. I think energy could be valuable, so I bank energy, send in the Ninetales. No! Oh no, it's Carbink. And just like that, I think I'm gonna lose. The mono fire moveset on Ninetales is so good even when overheat is resisted, but against something with the bulk of Carbink, my overheat is not going to inflict meaningful damage. The Azumarill is also one off an Ice Beam as well, so if they bring in the Azumarill at any point, I'm going to have to throw, or I could potentially get knocked out. So the Carbink, they actually decided to throw here, which was a bit of a surprise to me. They are going to fire off a move, and they're on Rock Slide. That's actually worse for me. If it was Gem, they would have worse pacing, but they're on Rock Slide. Rock Slide is going to be shielded. In comes Azumarill. I know they're one off the move because they had 4 bubbles of residual, so I'm forced to fire off the Weather Ball immediately, and I have to get to the Energy Ball to win this game, and I was 1 short. That's really, really unfortunate. Had I just shielded the Blastoise and recognized the fact that they were just triple weak to Blastoise, I could have won that game, but unfortunately, I did not, and the game ends in a loss. Abomasnow into Shadow Credilli. And this is actually a Bullet Seed Credilli. I was expecting Acid. Even with Acid, I was going to stay in because Abomasnow has a pacing advantage, but it's Bullet Seed. Bullet Seed does make life a little bit uncomfortable here just because they are slightly faster pacing. They're now going to pivot into Clodsire, and I will respond with the Blastoise. I believe I switched fast enough that I should be able to get the double Hydro before they get the Earthquake plus Sludge Bomb. Double Sludge does not KO a non-Shadow Blastoise, so I was able to get a little bit of farm on the Abomasnow, but if I stay in for too long, then I can't outpace here, and outpacing is very important. So I will get to Hydro Cannon number 2, Clodsire is going to no-shield, and they will get KO'd. Opponent, of course, does have the ability to bring back in this Shadow Credilli, and that's exactly what they're going to do. The Bullet Seed is going to go through as I fire off Hydro Cannon. Hydro Cannon is going to land. I go for the Snipe, but they switch themselves, and they actually have their own Blastoise in the back. They're going to have to throw on alignment here, otherwise I can just make an Energy Ball. So my opponent is going to have to throw right here, just to guarantee that they boost up their defense before the Energy Ball lands. So, it actually looks like I was just shy, so they could have thrown on good timing there. It's been a while since I played Abomasnow. We get to fire off Energy Ball. That's going to be big damage. They're going to go for the Hydro Cannon. And now I should be in a pretty okay spot just to switch into the Ninetales. I think I can Ember down here. Oh, they live on 1 HP. That is unfortunate. Blastoise Hydro Cannon gets me to 1 HP. Oh, I actually had the move. I didn't realize I had the move, but I have a move on the Abomasnow. And the move didn't show up at first, but thank goodness the game pauses to let the move show up. I don't know if that's something new they added, but if it is, I'm very happy because having moves not show up is really unfortunate. Speaking of unfortunate, we're leading Abomasnow into Primeape, and it's basically the Primeape lead in particular, or any fighter, that really made me think that Blastoise wasn't the right third for this team. I think the Abomasnow Canine Core is a really solid one. They're going to close combat me, send in Samurott, and Samurott is a core breaker for the Abomasnow plus Canine Core. So this is tough. I'm going to be firing off the Hydro Cannon. I felt that the double Hydro was by far the safer play because they have to respect the Skull Bash, but I need some chip damage onto the Samurott. I'm going to send in Abomasnow, but Abomasnow is going to have to respect Megahorn. Megahorn would do way too much damage, so I will shield. There's the Megahorn coming through. I'm farming up, but realistically, if I throw an Energy Ball, then I just have no energy for the Primeape, which is bad. So instead, I'm trying for a Weather Ball farm down here, and I think I just have to let the Abomasnow go. That's another Megahorn. I get KO'd. In comes the Ninetales. Ninetales gets the Ember down, and we're up energy in the end game. In comes Primeape. Primeape will immediately be met with the Weather Ball fire. Weather Ball into the Primeape, big damage, but Primeape is going to hang on and make the close combat, and this is a big problem. I'm forced to respect the close combat. In the back, it's a Clodsire. Yeah, unfortunately, this is just not going to end up being a win. The opponent had several Pokemon that were very tough for this team in the Primeape and the Samurott. If they had one of the two, I think I probably could have gotten the win, but with them having both, there's just no hope in this game. We move to the next game. Abomasnow staring down Belly Bolt. So another one of these parabolic charge boosting electrics. Belly Bolt obviously has Sucker Punch, which will hit for neutral damage. Here I'm going to throw on CMP, and that's when I learned that I lose CMP as Abomasnow. With these new mods, I'm not quite sure of their attack stats, so this is a misplay by me. I didn't realize that I lost CMP here. Otherwise, I would have just thrown the Weather Ball one sooner, because obviously now the defense is boosted. Boosted or not, Energy Ball is still a great move, so I'm going to be firing off Energy Ball here. Energy Ball is going to pick up the knockout. In comes Gligar. Gligar aiming for the farm down, but they do not get it. Abomasnow gets a last-second Weather Ball. Oh, looks like the Weather Ball was actually on damage registration error there, as the Fury Cutter does end up KOing, so a bit of good luck going my way in this matchup after that really poor start where I CMP died when I definitely should not have. Gligar is going to land the dig. There's a catch onto a Jellicent, and Jellicent is so bad for this backline. I really need a Abomasnow on the Jellicent. I'm forced to stay in here with the Blastoise, trying to CMP tie the Jellicent, because Blastoise does win that cap tie. I fire off another Hydro. That's going to get them low. Opponent should throw here, but they lose count. They accidentally play to a CMP tie that they do not win. That's really good news for Blastoise, as Blastoise, just with entirely resisted damage, has gotten this deep into the red. Surf is going to pick up the KO. In comes the Ninetales. The game pauses a bit there, but thank goodness I don't lose any turns. And now I will use the first of my shields. Surf obviously would do way too much damage. We get the Ember down. Back in comes the Gligar, and Gligar just can't get to two moves. It would need to get to an Aerial Ace plus a Dig. They go for the Hail Mary Dig. I'm at the back-to-back Weather Balls, and we see from the tasks at the bottom right that they just resign the match, recognizing that I just have too much energy. We move to the next match. Oh, this is a big problem. So if Samurott picks up, I think this core is less strong, but what I liked about it is it did really well into kind of what feels like the day 1 and day 2 common cores, which is a lot of Gligar plus Dedenne. Opponent now going to send in Annihilape, and yeah, the Samurott plus Fighter pairing proves to be a difficult one for this team. I'm able to grab a shield with a Hydro Cannon, which is nice, but because Rollout does such little damage, they can afford to no shield 1. I believe that I can KO in 4 Embers here, and that's what I'm going to have to do. But boosted counters are no joke, so I'm going to take a lot of damage here as Ninetales. I do get the farm down, which is nice, but I paid a heavy price, as I've lost quite a bit of health. In comes Diggersby. Diggersby going to get smacked with an overheat. I really need a catch here onto the Abomasnow, but my opponent will always have the ability to be patient, and they are able to save it. In comes Samurott. Samurott just going to go for a Hydro Cannon, so I'm going to let this through. Hydro Cannon is going to land, but the unfortunate thing is I think the Hydro, because the Shadow and the Fury Cutters, are going to prevent me from baiting and successfully getting to an Energy Ball. I have one win con, and it's predicting when my opponent will combo with the Diggersby. I'm going to send in the Ninetales, and I predict they're going to do it right when they're at 1 HP. So I'm going to continue to farm up here with the Ninetales, and there's the combo. I didn't predict it right. I thought they were going to do one more and then switch. My fault there, but it was a really, really tough core pairing to deal with. Hopping into the final match, and there's one final fighter for the road. I decide to stay in with the Abomasnow. If they have close combat me, knock me out. But they go for the Rage Fist. And that actually ends up being kind of fine, because now I will get to fire off the Weather Ball, and Weather Ball is going to get them pretty low. They will commit the shield. Opponent actually does not CMP time me here, so it looks like they're going to go for a farm down. Weather Ball is going to land. I send in the Ninetales trying to snipe, and I will be forced to burn a shield as I have to respect the boosted close combat, but they Rage Fist again and now send in a Azumarill. This is really not great for Kanto Ninetales, a situation when I wish I had Solar Beam, but I still do think that in many situations, Overheat just ends up feeling a lot better, because a same type attack bonus Overheat, even when resisted, is often more efficient than a neutral Scorching Sands. Here I'm able to land the Overheat. Opponent actually ends up getting a little too greedy with the farm down. They're unaware of the new pacing. That allows me to force a shield. They're going to exit with all this energy, but if they want to land 2 play roughs, they're going to have to survive 3 rollouts. The 1 rollout that sneaks as they throw, and 2 more, and guess what? They're not going to survive it. So the opponent's greed there ends up costing them. In comes Gligar, and this is now going to be a guessing game. I have to try and predict, will they go for a catch? Opponent, oh, really poor timing there, as they end up letting an entire rollout for free. I no-shield the Aerial Ace. I switch, predicting them to switch, but they stay in, and now this is going to be tough. I think that I can KO here in 1 rollout on any Mon, so I'm just going to throw the rollout. We get the KO, and now for a little bit of fun, I get to fire off the Skull Bash. That was not a clean endgame from me whatsoever, but we are able to survive and take the win. All in all, I think that Kanto Ninetales, it's a really interesting pick now. To me, it's now a really usable anti-meta Pokemon. I do think that the niche of being a fire type is a very crowded one, as obviously there's Pokemon like Talonflame and Typhlosion that are already really strong. But I think that a really good case for Ninetales is the fact that it has same type attack bonus move every 10 turns. Whereas obviously Typhlosion has that same pacing, but it's a non-stab Thunder Punch. Whereas especially if you end up being up a turn against another 10-turn user, it can actually work out pretty nicely for Kanto Ninetales. So I've been pretty critical of Kanto Ninetales in the past, not really seeing a role for it in a lot of metas, but I think in this meta it does have a bit of an anti-meta niche as a slightly bulkier fire type that still has that consistent 10-turn pacing. Whereas if push comes to shove, if you need to tank a neutral move, Ninetales has the ability to do so, whereas something like Typhlosion, we know it's all attack all the time and really can't take those hits. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoy watching content like this, please do consider leaving a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you as always to our channel members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is genuinely so appreciated. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.